Hey everybody, Asher here with Rise to Ruins, a game that's really taken me by surprise and kind of sucked away my time from some other games. It is part city builder, part survival base building, part tower defense, and just really interesting and fun. I think it's a pretty good time killer to say the least. It was formerly known as Retro Pixel Castles or something like that. I'm playing the unstable build InDev 28, Unstable 6. I bring that up because there's a lot of features that are in the unstable build that aren't necessarily in the main branch, but of course, the one developer on this game, just made by one person, which is highly impressive to me, runs into issues where old saves don't really work because this is still early access, still in development. But I have been enjoying what I'm playing so far, so I wanted to share some. I'm going to try and sort of pound out a series here, just with recordings, just to get you to see what this game's all about. So let's hit the world map button and get this started. Now I'm going to be playing on survival difficulty, which is the next to highest difficulty, sort of considered the traditional gameplay difficulty. And what you do in this game, it's kind of like Populous, so the old SNES version. In a way, you get to pick an area to start out with, and pretty much you're controlling all of these little people, but not directly. You build, you can direct things, you can cast spells or abilities to make things work. We're going to be doing a lot of that early. But pretty much the world map has all kinds of different little areas. The coloration's cosmetic for now. Other things will be introduced later, but we're going to pick a new dragon just because there's some interesting features on the map, which we will get to in just a moment. But the idea is that you build a camp, you drop it down, and then you sort of try and collect your different resources and see if you can, just how long you can survive with the challenges that will be pressed upon you. But when you do start, you want to try and find an area that does have some good trees, which we have here, which does have a good access of stone, which is right there, has some access to water. Not a lot of water, but there is some available, and then crystals as well. So let's visit the region and get this started, just kind of dive into the gameplay. Alright, so we're going to be getting a bunch of little tooltips on the side here. I'll leave them just to kind of look around in case you want to pause and see, in case you're watching this video trying to figure out things. But there's a few features I want to talk about at the start here. First off, if I pause the game, I can't scroll, I can't go through any of the menus. So while I do want to actually place my camp somewhere, I will open the mini-map just so we can look at that. You cannot actually interact with the world while paused, which I think is a very interesting challenge the game lays out here, compared to maybe some other strategy games like RimWorld or something where I pause and consider things all the time. But there is also on the unstable branch, one of the reasons I really like it is there's this finally a little time acceleration button up here. It's not that in the main version, but it's very important for later, even if it's not the most stable thing. But regardless, we're kind of going to be starting on spot. We could start up here as well and build a camp. We do have some water, some stone, some crystals and everything, but what we have down here is, even though it's a slightly less defensible spot, we have some buildings that we can start with. Some tents, so we already have some free housing, a bullet tower, we have a hovel, which, believe it or not, hovels are actually one of the strongest houses that you have in the game right now. So let's go ahead and place camp first. Like I said, we're starting kind of on spot, but not totally on spot. I think probably, I mean, this will be fine, I guess. I could try and move it up and around just to make some different things happen, but like I said, we're just kind of diving into it, not doing it super serious, but time is running while we're here, so we're gonna have all of our people pew 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 in, and we already have our little task force on the left here, which says builders, which this is in the game right now. Resource management is the other thing in the unstable, which is really nice. We will be going through this quite a bit in context, but I'm just going to scroll through it for those of you who may be familiar with the game, but that's going to be important for later. For now, we're building our town center, and we want to determine some other things that we need. Now, if we're doing survival, there's obviously a few things we need. Housing, which is fortunately pretty close to us, but we also need some places for food and water. So a good thing for that is just to build some farms. Now, hopefully I didn't screw this up too badly. Maybe I did, in fact, but we'll make it work. So let's see, if we want to build a farm, let's actually do a farm right here. And we'll do another farm up there as well. Second thing we want to build is some kind of well or fountain. And I'm just keeping some of these near kind of the town center. Because one thing we got to keep in mind, or not keep in mind, but just to know some of the basic functions of the game, we do have this building, but we only have a total number of buildings that we can have right away. We do have our camp built. We can upgrade it, and that will give us opportunities to get more buildings. Fortunately, some things we can do right now are reclaim some of these tents, get some housing just available. We can't even build roads at this point either, so that's going to be 6 buildings right away. We will have, if you look at all these little panels here, there's all kinds of buttons up here. We're going to be going all into it. I'm just, like I said, going to leave some of these up here for just a moment. If you want to read them, pause them. But workers, harvesting resources, which is the other types of buildings we're going to need to get, and then abandoned buildings, which we can reclaim. We have lots of spells here. We will get through them before long. But if we look at the problem, the problem list is what we want. No harvestable food, no drinking water, no homes. So those are 3 major issues just to get down to. So let's go ahead and look at the different things that we need. One is to harvest wood. We're going to do all this right here. We don't need to pick the whole map. We're just going to get a little bit of it. The second thing is to harvest some stone. I could be using hotkeys for this. It's probably better if I do. But we can get these as well. The third is going to be to harvest crystal. We have some crystal right here. The fourth is going to be the harvest food, which we'll be able to get once we get the food up, or get this up here. These are little flowers. They're just pretty cute. We have some people wondering about their housing. These right here should be food right there. That is turnips or tunips, depending on where you're from. We also have cactuses, which I believe are food. Certainly I do enjoy me some nopalitos, so that's pretty excellent. But right now we just have our little town building. Now, one thing that I have had problems with in the past is we're just going to go ahead and set some basic harvesting things right here. I think the mine is going to be fine here, and we're going to put a lumber shack over closer to the woods, so that's all good. We're full on building slots. We're getting tips right away. So work buildings, resource management, we'll get there. Building priority, farming, housing, all good. You see right away that we need farmers. We're in the spring season right now, which I hope I didn't skip that tooltip. So we want to try and get as much farming as possible, but also we need to designate one of these people as a water master. Now, I don't know why I'm necessarily taking people away from this job, because right now we do have some idle population. I have read some guides, some ideas that say that you really want to have your some of your population idle because it helps them procreate and get babies and let them sort of be fruitful and multiply. But to be honest with you, right now we have a lot of population that's homeless, and you may see some of these little things floating around during the game. It's not just the weather, which is some things blowing, but these little things that are making the little dingy sounds they fly in here, it actually fills up my magic meter. So we'll get that. Let's go ahead and upgrade the camp. We need more building slots, and we're going to need them fast. We need to harvest some food. Our farm will actually not work until we harvest food, and actually I don't want to harvest that water yet because we do not have the materials necessary to harvest that. Now, these resources will grow back eventually, but there is another thing we need. I did say before very briefly that this is a tower defense style game, and we will actually need some defenses. Specifically, bow towers are what I'm going to target first. But before that, one thing that we can build right away is walls, and walls do not count towards the building count. So that is where we are going to start. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that once I start doing this, and hopefully not screwing it up too badly, is we're going to get some errors thrown at us by the game that say, hey, wait a minute, you have too many buildings being built right now. That's just fences. We're not going to deal with that too much. But we actually have some holes in the fences, so we have our southern border pretty much covered right now. We're going to need to make kind of a northern border as well. Now, there were some things in the past with this game where you could, wait a minute, I actually have a makeshift mining facility that's available right there. So can I cancel this? That's actually kind of wasteful. Yeah, let's just cancel that. That's really dumb. So we're out of slots right now, so that's a mistake on my part. I did look at the hobble and everything and didn't even look a little bit further east, but mistakes will be made if you watch me play before. You kind of know how that goes with this. I'm one that is happy to learn from my mistakes, but we'll see what we want to do. I may actually go ahead and try and make an entrance right here. However, the building gates, which are a recent update edition, are actually a style of building that does count towards your building count, so we got to watch out for that. Also, we do have water here. In older builds, the water could be used as a defense and the enemy would stupidly go through that. It has since been updated. We don't have to worry about monsters yet, but we will soon. Soon-ish. So we have 7 buildings available. Reason I want to reclaim this place especially is that it'll expand where I can build. And since I screwed up, let's go ahead and show some magic here. So we can grab resources from different tiles and put it over there. I would say that I really want One thing that I want to develop is the ability to use more magic to grab more than one thing at a time, but for now we'll just do the clicky click. I actually missed there. We have another thing, which is nomads, and we can see them on the mini-map right here. Now these nomads will join the village if they do get to me in time. Eventually we have to worry about them running through monsters, and what we can do is cast a spell called Recall, and if we time it right, it zaps them right over to our town, and they should join us shortly. There we go. Now this is where I would say in the past, maybe for other series, I'd try and name viewers and put their names here, but A, I'm not really sure how to rename villagers in this game, but more importantly, it's really hard to keep track of who's doing what where, so we'll get there. And you can see right here, I'm actually dropping stone blocks, and everybody has that big question mark. That just literally means they are confused. Why is some divine hand dropping blocks down here? We don't know. Very nice little nod to old Populous. I like it. Alright, so we got to get some wood over here. The wood resources and crystal resources will grow back over time. And did I not actually upgrade my camp? Meant to. Should have more than 8 here. Upgrading the camp's not the only way to get more buildings. We can also build what's called an ancillary. Those are actually pretty important because it gives you organizers, and organizers are special people that will go around and make sure stuff is at the right building, but we don't need to do that yet. So nomads, here's your tooltip. Nomads come to your region, they're friendly and they want to join, but they have to get to you. And then rain, it's raining. Rain is very important because if we run out of water, which is tracked up here, we're going to be in problems. I do want to get a water catcher, but I have to get... I think a rain catcher is a good building to put early because it's pretty simple. But we have no workers for the miners. We definitely need some miners right now. So let's get 8 miners. Can actually go ahead and grab hand over here as well. There's one thing I wish I could do, and maybe I'm just not sure how to do it. It's to readjust the hotkeys. I'd like to have something other than the 0 button Venus grab spell, because it is something I use a lot, maybe to make up for my shortcomings. Fortunately, I don't think I can damage people if I accidentally drop wood on top of their head. So that's nice. So once I get all these going, people... I'm just going to go ahead and give... Ooh, why are we not... Am I just missing the building? Oh, not enough influence. I've actually gripped things as far as I can. So hopefully people will finish that in just a moment. But I do need a fence because after today, this is the only day we're going to have where we do not have monsters. So we need to fix that. We have walls here. And we are going to set up a gate structure over here in just a little bit. So where else do we want to actually sort of do the first enclosure for our town? I think it's probably a good idea if we go right here and go west. Those are just dead trees. And then our influence doesn't spread very far. If we add buildings, we'll get some more, but at least right now we can do it kind of like this. Yeah, I know. Very confusing why you have that there. And then if I think since monsters can't actually go through this, we can actually change the brush side and set to actually destroy terrain. So if we destroy this terrain right here, we'll be able to build that last fence. Yes, I'm walling my people in for now, but this is just super important that we get this done. So lumberjacks. You see all the numbers are red there. That means I've assigned too many people to work. That means people will get unhappy if they're overworked. So we want a lot of builders, we want some miners, and then we can just kind of let the game run a little bit. So I do have a lot of fencing to build. We do have some upgrades that are happening. Our farm is finally up and running. One of the biggest mistakes I made on my first survival playthrough was not taking advantage of the spring. So once this camp is upgraded and once this fence is done, one of the first things I'm going to be building is a water catcher, and the second thing I'm going to be building is a second farm. And even then I'm probably going to need to build a third farm beforehand. So is there anything else we can do at this point? Because we're going to need to build an ancillary soon or upgrade our camp again. And once we do that, we are going to actually go about and really start in earnest building our defenses. So we will see what we can get there. Night has arrived, everything is calm. You see it's going to get nice and dark. But since we're on day... Ooh, I'm running out of influence again. Since we're on day 1, there's no monsters yet. And you can see people aren't necessarily sleeping. That's, of course, because they don't have homes. Village efficiency, nothing to say yet. Building list. This is where we can change our priority here. Let's go ahead and put the large camp up here at the highest level, which, by the way, there's the same button here that lets you change the priority as well. Important to note, problems. 2 homes have no food. Villagers are hot. Villagers are homeless. The nice thing about the hovel versus the 10 is that the hovel will house 24 people. I won't show it there. But yeah, hovel will house up to 24 people, whereas the tent does only 6. The thing about the hovel is that it takes a lot of resources that we don't have yet. So pretty good. I could actually cut some miners. That's probably a good idea for now. Like I said, I want to get these fences up as fast as possible. So nighttime, we need some defenses like a bow tower. Well, we're going to get there, but the first things first. Let's go ahead and just speed it up. A button I definitely want to take some good advantage of as we just try and get the town to move around here. We have 12 building slots available now. We still need the fences to go. And one thing I normally like to do in this gameplay is just to put fences on top priority. However, I do want to go ahead and set up another farm just to be built. This will be a turnip farm as well. Your farm actually won't start until it gets some plant resources here. And you can already see I've already almost taken out all of those. What else do I need? I did say I wanted a rain catcher. Well, let's put that in the middle of town as well. And then I really want to get some, we need to start some refining. We need to get some housing together. But we can kind of get away with not having housing for a little while. But one thing I'm going to need is a lumber mill for boards, because to repair this hovel, I need boards, which are more advanced resource. So this building's going to take a while to build. Ooh, I messed that up a little bit. Well, if we put it down here, it gets in the way of possibly a defense tower that's going to be necessary. If we put it right here, it should be all right. So let's just put it there. I don't have like some grand design of how I really want to build this village other than just to make sure I get some gates in here. What this probably means is that we do need to go ahead and set the camp to upgrade again, because right now I have 1 building slot left and I need to start getting some defenses. But more importantly is that while I do need to have places where I can defend against people coming in, the more important thing, to be honest, is that I need ways to make ammunition. Like if I build a bow tower, I need a bowyer. Which means actually, let's just cancel this for now. No one's started on it yet anyway. Let's build a bowyer first. We can deal with the other stuff. So it's under manufacturing. I'd love to have hotkeys for this as well, but we can put the bowyer right here because it uses wood resources. This will let us actually build a tower. The question is, where are we going to need the tower to take on the enemies here? So let's go ahead, just put another wood fence, close out. Oh, can't actually, okay. I know what I need to do, but it's going to get a little ugly here first, so I apologize. What we need to do is put a fire pit. This also counts as a building, but this extends our building range, which is actually pretty important. Not just because it lets us see enemies as they may be coming closer, but it lets us kind of build out a little further. I could change where the fence goes, but we can check actually with some of the data views that if we look at the perimeter of our town, versus the grid, the range of our town, monsters are coming here. We can still build kind of out here, but that's going to change once we get some areas. We can't actually build here, so fences will actually limit where we can build. It's a neat system. All right, we have 26 slots available. We need to take advantage of this fast. All right, defense. I want 1 bow tower on this side. We're going to need to drop some crystals in here, that's fine. I want 1 bow tower, probably right here. And if I put it, well, not actually right there. So we're going to have some defenses by the end of the night, I think. So if I put the bow tower kind of right here, and if we put, since we already have this area still building, all I'm going to do is just take out 1, 2, 3, and we can put in a gate on this side. I said we can put in a gate on this side. All right. North, south, nope. East, west gate. So there's another building needed, and then if we do the same thing over here, pretty much all that means is that we will have not too much left to do. So let's 1, 2, 3. We got our first monster. Here's a zombie. It's currently being blocked by the fence, and I just let him in. Fortunately, there's some things we can do. Let's drop a meteor on him. Boom! And the zombie's on fire. Don't like that. Okay, just pick him up. Okay, dropping him off the edge of the world doesn't work like it used to because it's way too easily exploited. But yeah, look, we got actually a piece of rock from the meteor that fell. That's fun. Alright, so don't be too OCD about that road. We just gotta rebuild our defenses here. And clearly my people are gonna need help with getting some crystals into these towers. Because right now we do not have a crystal harvestry. The reason we do not have that, I will show you in a minute, is because we actually need boards or more complicated structures to build that as well. So if we do harvesting crystal, it needs 8 boards, which is the lumber mill that we're going to build over there. So we got mating. We noticed that Mortar and Rosa are doing things. There we go. Overheating. People are overheating. And then someone was attacked by a zombie. Oh no. So we need defenses. We need defenses fast. There are ways to try and get some different materials here. You know what, actually? We need to get this up and running because right now monsters may or may not be able to get through that, but I don't want to tempt fate. So we need the tower. We need the other ability to get there. So we're going to be doing this kind of a few times. Just dropping some wood. Like I said, we are just confusing the crap out of people all around us, which the one thing I don't like about the confusion is that it does decrease productivity, but only so much I can do. Alright, so that wood will get done when it gets done. I do want to make this fence the #1 priority, though. So we just need a little bit of wood from over here. Can I actually pull wood from these dead trees? Is that wood? That's wood. Cool. Saves me a little bit of scrolling. There's still going to be some people that don't like this. But I think I'm going to be good to go considering it's morning and we're going to get a gate done by the end of the day. Gates have a lot more health than fences, and we could do stone fences later, but for now we're just starting with this. You can see some little things catching on the map. I'm getting them again, but we don't have enough influence. There's a lot of ways to get influence later. Do we have some other monsters on the map? So we saw the one zombie so far. Oh, there's actually one that just came in. A child zombie. How quaint. Yeah, I think at this point we can just accelerate a little bit. And we have some combat. There we go. Oops. So we had one zombie. It tried to come over here and it just got pasted. Oh no, it's a slime. Okay. So we can make ammo, and we have nomads as well. And we have people with too much work. So let's see, where are these nomads? No, that's a monster. That's a monster. They did just recently update like how things look, but sometimes or look on the mini-map, so they're a lot clearer than they used to be. But right now, one of the big things is when you're looking for nomads, sometimes you have to kind of seek and find, and sometimes it means looking for actual combat on the map. But maybe I already missed them. Maybe they'll be in here in just a minute. Yeah, those guys are building real good. I do not hear the sounds of obvious combat. So if there is somebody that's coming, it looks like they're not gonna die. You're going to see that this map gets really overrun with monsters before long. That's part of this significant challenge. So we have a big fire pit. That means we need to finish our fence ASAP. Alright. Really? Really? Okay, well maybe if we destroy this terrain. All else fails, we can just build the fence another way. Make that like a little tower grotto. So exhaustion. People are starting to get sleepy. They need houses, I know. And even though we're at the building cap, we can build an ancillary. It's probably going to be just fine if we build it right here. Because this is going to be a little different from maybe how I played this game in the past. Not that you've seen it, so not that you necessarily know what I'm talking about. But I've just kind of had big blob villages in the past, but since I'm starting in the center of the map, what that means now is that I can... Oh, so the dead trees were actually blocking the way. Good. we'll have a whole fence there. But this is going to be kind of our central keep section, and then we can build some other areas outside of there. Like, we should be able to expand and have most of our buildings just fine. But I'm going to go ahead and accelerate a little bit more. We have most of our defenses here. We do not have a lot of our gates done. That's not good. Because now there's monsters on the map. There's not going to be a ton of monsters, but there's still monsters just the same. We currently have no water, which is also a problem. One reason we got a rain catcher. You can see I'm running out of resources here. But are we done with having too many things to build? Nope, still too many buildings. As long as we have a bunch of fences, there's going to be complaints about too many buildings. And people are just wandering around out of town now. So those nomads never show up. Like, they haven't died. Are they just stuck in the mountains somewhere? I mean, that can happen, I guess. Normally, when you get nomads, they path directly to the town, but I really did not see them. Oh, is that? Oh, it's that. Maybe they fell in the lava. That would probably be painful. But it would have said they died. So, who knows? You're just sad now. So we're getting a little bit of input lag here, but I'm just, I guess we don't have a lot of people here. We're almost at midday. I think we're at a pretty good point to actually stop this video, because I kind of want to start the next video as night falls. So we have one gate done. We have one bow tower done. We don't have our bowyer done, which stinks. But we should be able to defend ourselves adequately, I guess. So we're not fully prepared for the nightfall, but we do have most of the fence, so we should be able to control what monsters come in. So I'm going to just pause the game here, and we're going to continue right where we left off. This is Asher with Rise to Ruins. It's available on Steam, I think other stores as well. It's a lot of fun. I do recommend to check it out, but we're going to be continuing our survival playthrough in the next video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave any thoughts, strategies, tips in the comments, and I will see you next time. Take care.